Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Box Score, where we break down college basketball matchups in full detail and uncover the edges that matter most when it comes to betting and understanding the game. In today's breakdown, we're looking at 5 games set for Thursday, November 6, 2025, a strong slate with several intriguing matchups across mid-majors and some high-tempo contests that could deliver real betting value. Let's dive right in. We'll start the night in Indianapolis, where Long Island takes on IU Indy at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN+. This game is interesting because IU Indy has quickly become one of the more unpredictable teams in Division I basketball. Their first game of the season was chaos. They gave up 118 points but managed to score 102 against Ohio State. That's the definition of volatility. With new head coach Ben Howlett coming over from Division II West Liberty, a powerhouse that made it to the Elite Eight last year, this is a team that's going to play fast, force turnovers, and push the pace at every opportunity. The flip side, they foul a lot. Ohio State shot more than 50 free throws in that opener. Long Island, on the other hand, is the more composed and experienced group. They're a veteran team and a legitimate favorite to win the NEC this season under Rod Strickland, now in his third year leading the program. The Sharks play solid, fundamental basketball. They defend the three-point line well, top 50 nationally last year, and they were also top 100 in defending the paint. They rebound hard, they stay disciplined, and while their offense isn't always explosive, they find ways to create extra possessions and control tempo. They struggled offensively in their opener against Notre Dame, but against IU Indy's shaky defense, there will be plenty of chances to find rhythm. IU Indy can go off in spurts, but that unpredictability cuts both ways. With this one priced near a pick'em, I'm siding with the steadier team. I'm taking Long Island. I think they should be favored and will find a way to handle business here. Moving on, we've got Robert Morris facing off with Drake at 7:30 Eastern, another ESPN+ matchup. These are two teams that we've already seen early in the season, and in both cases, fading them paid off. Robert Morris got blown out by Iowa, and Drake barely got by Northern Arizona. But when comparing the two directly, I see more upside right now with Drake. The Bulldogs struggled for much of that Northern Arizona game, falling behind by double digits in the second half before rallying to win by 6. It wasn't sharp basketball early, but given the roster overhaul and a new system, that's understandable. What stood out to me was how composed they were down the stretch. That's something to build on. Robert Morris, on the other hand, has serious backcourt issues. They turned the ball over 23 times in that Iowa game and still somehow shot 46% from deep and 50% from inside the arc, yet lost by 32 points. When you shoot that efficiently and still lose by 30+, that tells you how bad your defense and ball security were. Drake turned it over only 10 times in their opener, so the backcourt gap is massive here. Unless Robert Morris somehow cleans up its turnover issues overnight, this is a tough spot. I'm rolling with Drake to cover the spread. They've got the better guard play, the steadier system, and I think this is the kind of game they use to start building momentum. Next, we've got Alcorn State taking on South Alabama at 8 o'clock Eastern, also on ESPN+. Alcorn opened the season getting dismantled by Florida State, a 32-point loss in which the line ballooned from around 20 to nearly 30 before tip-off, and even that wasn't enough. The Braves did hit 50% of their threes that night, which, on paper sounds good, but when you still lose by 30+ while shooting that well, that's a bad sign. What happens when those shots stop falling? And that's the real concern with Alcorn State. They play one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country. Road trips to Florida State, Minnesota, Maryland, LSU, Oklahoma, Baylor, Iowa State, and Ole Miss. That's a gauntlet. They'll be battle-tested by conference play, but early on, it's tough to expect consistency. South Alabama, meanwhile, is a solid veteran team in what's shaping up to be a very balanced Sun Belt this year. Every coach in the preseason polls seemed to have a different favorite, but South Alabama's right in that upper tier. They opened the season with an impressive win at Toledo, a strong MAC team, and while this could be a letdown spot, I still trust the Jaguars here. They're experienced, all upperclassmen in the starting lineup, and they can flat out score. They've got the offensive tools and pace advantage to cover the spread against a defensively overmatched Alcorn State squad. I'm taking South Alabama and laying the points. Now let's head to Gainesville for a late one. North Florida visiting Florida at 8 o'clock Eastern on the SEC network. The Gators are laying a big number here, and while it's always tough to back a heavy favorite early in the season, I think this could be one of those statement-type games. North Florida has been a solid mid-major program over the years, capable of pulling off the occasional upset. They beat South Carolina and Georgia Tech on the road last season, and they were a top 125 offense in adjusted efficiency. But their defense was miserable, one of the worst in the nation. This season, that defensive weakness remains, and they don't quite have the same offensive firepower to offset it. Realistically, North Florida is near the bottom of the ASUN this year. Florida, on the other hand, comes into this game after a tough opener against Arizona, a battle-tested, high-level opponent. They've got elite frontcourt talent and a team capable of making a deep tournament run again this season. They were frustrated in that opener, especially with their interior defense, and this feels like the kind of home game where they bounce back and play with intensity. The Gators are faster, deeper, and stronger at every position. With a team like this, coming off a loss, expect a locked-in defensive effort and plenty of scoring. I like Florida to cover here before the line rises even more. And finally, we close out with Northwestern State versus North Texas, another 8 p.m. tip on ESPN+. North Texas has been one of the most consistent mid-majors in recent years, tournament appearances, strong records, and great coaching. But they're in transition this year, breaking in a new system under a new head coach. They're still good, but I'm not sure they should be laying this many points against a Northwestern State team that's got some firepower and a legitimate star. Micah Thomas went off for 28 points in their opener against Texas A&M, and while the team gave up a ton of points, they still showed some encouraging signs. They battled on the boards, grabbed 10 offensive rebounds against one of the better front courts in the SEC, and forced 12 turnovers. They even got to the line 21 times. Statistically, it wasn't a terrible effort, it's just that A&M shot lights out. Northwestern State is a well-coached team under Rick Cabrera, and Thomas is a Player of the Year candidate in the Southland. They've got a brutal non-conference schedule: A&M, North Texas, San Francisco, Grand Canyon, but that's going to toughen them up. When you've got an elite guard who can control tempo and create shots, those are the underdogs you can trust to hang around. I'll take Northwestern State plus the points. So that wraps up our Thursday slate in college hoops. 5 matchups, each with its own angle and potential value. Long Island over IU Indy, Drake over Robert Morris, South Alabama to cover against Alcorn State, Florida to roll past North Florida, and Northwestern State to stay inside the number against North Texas. If you're enjoying these breakdowns, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Beyond the Box Score for more deep dive analysis across college basketball. Drop your predictions for Thursday's games in the comments. I'd love to see where you're leaning. Thanks for watching, and as always, good luck with your bets and enjoy the games.